boys and girls, and welcome to your online class of biology. Students, today we are going to study the process of fertilization. But before starting it, let's have a look on this flowchart. In human reproduction, the main process is the fertilization process. The process which includes the fusion of the male gamete and the female gamete, which further leads to the pregnancy. But before the fertilization process, the events which takes place are known as the pre-fertilization events, which includes the gametogenesis. You have already studied the process of gametogenesis in your earlier classes. That is the spermatogenesis and the oogenesis, where the male gamete and female gamete are formed. So the pre-fertilization event actually comprises the processes which forms the required materials for the next event, that is the fertilization process. Now once the fertilization process is completed, the next event which takes place is the post-fertilization event. Now the fate of the post-fertilization event is of two types. First, if the fertilization occurs, that is, if the zygote formation is successful, it will lead to the embryonic development or the pregnancy. But if the fertilization process is not successful, because it's not necessary that every time when the sperm fuses with the ova, it will lead to the formation of zygote. There can be failures also. So it will lead to another process that is known as menstruation, or you can say if the sperm does not fuse with the ova at all, then it will lead to the another process which is known as menstruation. Today we are going to study about the process when the fertilization is successful. But for that we must know what is fertilization and how it occurs. Now, when the ovary releases the ova into the oviduct, at that time the ova starts moving from the infundibulum to this ampullary region. Once it reaches to this ampullary isthmic region, if at that time a sperm released in the vagina comes and fuses with the ova, only then a zygote is formed. Okay, so please keep this thing in your mind, that if a sperm when released in the vagina swims and comes to fuse with the ova, when it is present in the ampullary isthmic region, only then the fertilization process is successful. That is, if the ova comes out or moves out from this ampullary isthmic region, if a sperm comes and fuse at that time, then the zygote will not form. The successful zygote formation can occur only when the ova is present in the ampullary isthmic region. Okay. Now, as I have told earlier, you know that when a mature ova is released, at that time it is known, the follicle which releases it, it's known as Graafian follicle, because it develops a additional layer which is known as the zona pellucida layer around the ova. I have already told you the main function of this layer is to block the entry of multiple sperms. Actually, what it does is that when a sperm gets inside and fuses with the ovum, it changes the chemical nature of the zona pellucida, or it changes the chemical nature of the outer layer, so that the other sperms cannot take an entry or make an entry inside the ova. So in this way it blocks the entry of multiple sperms and only allows one sperm at a time to fuse with the ova. If the fusion occurs, again I am telling you, if the fusion occurs in the ampullary isthmic region, the fusion is successful and it forms a zygote. Now, let's now study about the post-fertilization event which occurs after the formation of the zygote. When the zygote is formed, the cell present inside the zygote starts dividing mitotically, which is known as the cleavage process, and forms a two-celled stage. After the two-cell stage, again the cells they divide and form a four-celled stage. In this way, they start or they go on dividing and fill up the entire zygote completely. Okay. Now the stage which contains around 8 to 16 cells inside it is known as the morula stage. Again, the 16 cells will divide and form 32 cells, and in this way they will fill up the entire zygote. Now, in the next, when the cells get covered up, or you can say they fill up the zygote completely, they start arranging themselves in the next stage. Okay. This stage is known as the blastula stage. In the blastula stage, you will find that the cells have arranged themselves into two groups. The first group is, it starts covering the boundary of the zygote and are known as the trophoblast cells. And a group of cells accumulate at a particular area and are known as inner cell mass. Now, if you have a close look in this picture of the half portion of the ovary or the reproductive, not only ovary, the reproductive tract of the female, you will find that the fusion occurs in the ampullary region. This is a 2-cell stage. The zygote starts moving. 4-cell stage, 8, 16. This is, or you can say this is the morula stage. Now, when the blastula stage is formed, the zygote actually comes over here. By the end of the blastula stage, the zygote starts aligning themselves on the uterine wall. What happens here is, this trophoblast layers gets attached to the endometrium layer of the uterine wall. Okay, and the inner mass cells starts arranging themselves at a particular region. Now, in this picture, as you can see here, don't concentrate over here. When the blastula first align themselves on the endometrium layer, this is the endometrium layer, it starts forming a chronic villi which extends to form a disc-shaped structure like this, which is known as the placental villi or the placenta. Now, this placenta connects the growing embryo with a umbilical cord, and now here it connects with the endometrium to form a single cord which is responsible for the exchange of waste materials, you can say important gases like carbon dioxide and oxygen, and all the nutrient material from the mother to the embryo and embryo to the mother. So this to and fro movement of the materials is done by this single cord which is formed by the placenta. Okay. Now, once the placenta is formed, this connection which is formed between the uterine wall and the growing zygote is known as the implantation process. Okay, implantation is nothing but the zygote embeds itself on the uterine wall. Now, this inner mass cell which you see here is actually responsible for the formation of all the organs which are present in the growing embryo. Once the trophoblast forms a permanent placenta, or once it forms the placenta successfully, this inner mass cells then starts dividing into 3 regions. Those 3 regions are known as the ectoderm, mesoderm and endoderm. All the organs of the body are formed from these 3 layers formed by the inner mass cells. Now, after this, the embryonic development or the proper embryonic development starts. One thing should be noted over here, that after the implantation process, when the embryonic development starts, there are few hormones which are formed in the uterus. Human chorionic gonadotropin, human placental lactogen, estrogens, progesterones, relaxin. You must always note that this human chorionic gonadotropin, human placental lactogen and relaxin are only formed during the pregnancy and or you can say the embryonic development. Now, when the embryonic development starts, the first organ which is formed is the heart. The heart is formed by the first month of the pregnancy. Okay, as you can see, this is the embryo. This is a fully formed embryo. So in the first month of the pregnancy, the heart is formed. In the second month, the limbs are formed. By the end of the first trimester, that is the first 12 weeks, a complete organism is formed with all the organs. After the first trimester, by the end of the 9 months, only the quantitative growth of the embryo takes place. At this stage, the embryo is known as the fetus. At the end of the 9 months, when the fetus is completely formed, then it is get delivered by the process of parturition. In the next class, we will discuss about the parturition process in details and what will happen if the fertilization is not successful. That's all for today. Thank you.